At the beginning of this season, we began a crime series navigating the different elements and contributing factors of crime in the country.
That still is like bring tears to my eyes that he was only 16.
Why will the people from NGL, but the people from NGL still have a connect on the road?
Tonight's episode is the culmination of those discussions. We were invited to an intelligence-based operation. The team was comprised of multiple frontline units and sub-operations. Central Intelligence Bureau, Drug Enforcement, Operations Ceasefire, Black Strike, and Black Hawk, Mobile, SWAT, and K9.
We do a weekly show called On the Record. And over the past, 5 weeks now, we have been focusing those episodes on crime and the crime situation. So for us, we sort of looked at the problem in reverse. So we have been talking to community leaders and people involved with charity organizations and psychiatrists and all kinds of folks, just sort of looking at the root causes and looking at, where this all begins and sort of peeling it back that way. But certainly we can't have a conversation about crime and not talk about the work that the police is doing every day, 7 days a week, 24 hours a day. And so I made a request to the commissioner. He graciously agreed to allow our team from our news, our TV, and On the Record to come out and just show what it is that you do every night. I think sometimes the public doesn't realize the intensity of what you do. They don't realize what you face every day out there in keeping us safe.
But we know we have persons in the community and small segments and sectors of the community still out there.
As you know, like we say every week, we go in over here with a purpose. Let's be professional, as always. Not because the camera crew and our news here, let's maintain our professionalism. All right, like Mr. Sawyer said, we're going to be this is our element. This is what we do. All right, he's going to just show a little bit behind the scene what we do every day. It's nothing new. All right? Remember your rules of engagement like I always speak about. Remember, your justifiable force and harm policies. All right? When your life feels threatened or bystander, member of the public, then you know what to do. Like ACP Goodman said, we can't tell you, I can't put the gun here and tell you when to discharge it. You have to know and you have to be sure. Because that's the same standard that you will be held to when you sitting up in the coroner's court or sitting before the Supreme Court. The standard doesn't change. All right? So, that said, let's go there. Let's be safe. Let's be cordial to members of the public. And most important thing we could do at the end of this sort of duty is do what? Get back here in one piece. Go home to our families.
It's been a long time since I ventured on a police ride-along. To say so much has changed is an understatement. Technological advances have given policing improved data collection, safety, and accuracy. Post-briefing, the On the Record team was split into two. My producer and a cameraman went with the surveillance team, while a cameraman and I went with the enforcers carrying out the mission. This operation was described as intelligence-led, not just because of what was shared in the briefing, but because they were the first to interact with each target.
Operation Eagle Claw, this is just one of the operations of the many operations we are actually conducting right now. It's a proactive approach to crime. And so Like I said, especially being from CIB, we lead a lot of these operations because we do the groundwork. And so we lead the teams. We lead the teams in to the various targets because we didn't do our groundwork. Whether it's through using drone intelligence, whether it's through using human surveillance, whatever it is, whether, like I said, we have different forms of receiving information from informants and sources and so forth. And so we lead the teams into these operations. So that's why they describe it as being intelligence-led. When you develop an intelligence, you have informants, you have contacts, which may be persons from various departments. It may be persons from law enforcement agencies.
That was the voice of ASP Toote, a leader in the Central Investigation Bureau and a vital member of the mission. We initially would have met him during our briefing back at headquarters. In a thorough presentation, he would take the teams through the crime stats of the week and, using shot spotter technology, identified the hotspots. However, the job continues, as he and his team are responsible for surveilling the areas of this evening's targets. This is done to validate the information gathered, assess the safety level, and convey the details found to the enforcers' team.
He's very deceptive. He's very deceptive. You know, for the most part, he keeps his drugs not even on property.
See?
But he takes a small amount, so when persons come, just as this individual is doing.
Yeah. Person being serviced through the gate. This is another customer.
See?
Come in to the window. See, they know where the window is. This is a shop.
And it's
Look,
a regular.
it's a shop.
Regular.
See, this is a shop. See, he's opening the window to service the customer.
And this is right
Yeah.
set in a residential area. If we are able to take the customers in, we would take in the seller and the buyer. You know, but our priority is more so the seller. But like I said, if the opportunity presents itself, we would take in both individuals because they're both committing a criminal offense. This is collecting intelligence through technology. So we have to keep up with the criminals because they're always thinking of new ways to outsmart us. And so you have your SWAT shutter, you have your drones, you have your CCTV, and they have all been reaping benefits for our organization. They're all congregated in the same area.
Yeah.
Two wearing white t-shirts and blue jeans pants, and another individual appear to be wearing a red shirt.
Here's what we know. Target 1 is known to police for the sale of dangerous drugs, and the suspects are quite familiar with the judicial system, even going to the lengths of reporting harassment on police. However, based on what was discovered by surveillance, the suspects are actively participating in alleged illegal activities, which means it's time for the enforcers to roll in and catch them in the act.
So, moments after we left police headquarters, we got word that we were coming to this area based on the activity they could see from the drone technology. And we were told we were coming to a known drug house. I think for me, just getting here was terrifying. In that police caravan, coming through traffic at 6 o'clock. You're talking about down East Street, Robinson Road. But when we arrived here, that was the scariest. To watch them come into this property with the force that they did, guns drawn, and just so much going on. But what impressed me the most was, in my mind, it seemed almost chaotic.
You want to do it closer?
But I realized how well coordinated it was. And that told a major story for me. Everything that they told me we would find, we witnessed here. I mean, from just how fortified the property is, the time it took to get in, to open the gate, the fact that they have dogs here, which police tell us serve as a protection, a shield of protection even for them. And to see the suspect held, I think that always speaks to me. He's a young Bahamian man. And to see them possibly on the wrong side of the law like that was heartbreaking. I'm an animal lover, I'm a dog lover. I found 3 puppies in the corner. I thought to myself, what's going to be the fate of these dogs? I mean, that may seem inconsequential in a situation like this, but all of that sort of feeds into the narrative here. Then we're in the middle of a neighborhood where law-abiding, peaceful people reside, and to have all of this going on just right around them, that must be disconcerting. I think for me, this is my first glimpse, really, of first of all, what intelligence does, but also the coordinated effort in getting here and knowing what they were coming into, the fact that they had to open that gate and try and catch the suspects before they got rid of the drugs. But they knew exactly what they were looking for when they came here, and everything they told me would happen, happened.
A small service window and a metal gate, a pack of pit bulls and barbed wire and broken glass littering the walls. It's obvious there was a system, and the goal was to keep intruders of any kind out of it. The officers found a small quantity of illegal drugs, made 2 arrests for dangerous drugs, and were back on the road, heading in to our second target.
What are the dangers in going to scenes like the one we just came from, and even the one we go into now?
So, yeah, the risk, I mean, and the risk is always there, sir. The risk is always there in terms of, so why we always try to take the necessary precautions and treat everything like it's a level, like basically level 1, because we're looking for safety. Not only that safety for us, but safety for other members of the community. So like I say, those yards that we went to, the one previous and the one we going to, like I saying, we went on numerous occasions and was able to retrieve contrabands and also firearms. And the more we put them before the courts, some do short time in the prison, or they pay a fine and then they out back into the streets, basically right back to their old habits.
They seem to have that almost down to a science. What to do the minute the police arrive, they jump into action.
Yeah. So, like I said, they know for that particular action that they normally do. They look at the system now in terms of the court. In terms of the court now, in the Dangerous Drug Act, you'll see where they say 2 or more packets. So you'll realize now that they don't really package the drugs no more. So when we execute warrants on that residence now, we wouldn't find the drugs being maybe in the silver foil wrap or in the small baggy bags. You'll see the small metal window in the gate. You'll see they use that and they'll just serve it loosely in the hand. And so when you realize that when the police pull up there now, they'll be able to run straight to their restroom and try to discard the contrabands into the toilet. You see how the yard is fortified with the barbed wires, with the glass bottles and the gates and the pit bulls, and what would really create an obstacle for the police to really to get there to execute their job properly.
Giving them time to do what they gotta do.
Yes, sir.
And I even you talked about the fact that they don't keep large quantities now in the drug houses. They move the amounts back and forth.
Yeah. So what we know for that particular operation there, based on the intelligence that we have, we see them moving back and forth on these small little mopeds. So you'll see that when they run out a certain amount of, let's say they keep maybe about 2 or 3 ounces there, which they keep loosely. And so now when they run out of that, they'll use one of those runners. They'll use one of those runners on those motorcycles to go back to wherever their a part of their safe house is, which is out of that particular area. They bring a small portion again to that area to refurbish that area with some more contrabands again, because like I say, that's all day and all night, maybe till 12 o'clock tonight they shut down, and then first thing back in the morning.
What does a house like that, an activity like that, in a neighborhood like that, what's the potential for criminal activity and other things in the neighborhood for the people that live around it?
Well, what we find, like some of the neighbors, and that's why we look at the community, that's why we really our Chief Superintendent, Christian Skippins, always talk about, the community and how we want to create safer communities. We have persons could call the 911 call to make anonymous calls to us, and some of the public normally does that, make anonymous calls to us. And when we get that information, we keep that confidential, and we be able to send our eyes and our ears out there who are undercover officers to be able to ascertain and see that this information is really true. And that's how we first came upon that information with that particular residence. But as we continue to execute warrants on that residence, and they go to court and they try to beat the system, they look at the law and they try to see how the best way they could to beat the law.
But your technology as well helps you to really keep an eye on the activity and realize what's happening.
Yeah, so you know that the drone technology is one of those technology the organization uses now, and because of the drone technology now, that we could do more of a covert type operation where we could covertly look over them from a bird's eye view or an aerial type of position to be able to see and to justify our reasons for going there. Even if we go there sometime and we don't find nothing, and we could justify to any court or to a magistrate that, hey, this is the reason why we executed the warrant on that, because you could see, like in the video, you'll be able to see the contrabands being distributed from the residents, like back and forth, vehicles pulling up, and we even met one or two vehicles there during our time of even coming there.
Mm-hmm. So I'm curious now, what happens to the people who pull up there while you're there? Are they arrested, or what normally happens?
Yeah, if someone is there with contrabands on them, like maybe someone who might just make a recent purchase prior to us coming there and wasn't able to leave before our arrival there, and if we stop them and search them and we find contrabands on them, then they're arrested, and then they went through the drug enforcement unit and then before the court, charged and placed before the courts.
When we come back, our ride along takes us to the most distressing stop of the night. Stay with us. Our second target of the night was an area known to police for drug solicitation, high-powered weapons, and gang-affiliated activity. We were informed that the residence was home to a family that had 7 sons, 3 of whom were killed while involved in criminal activity.
Make sure that let all the males come right up for me, please. All the males come right up.
I can walk you, let's go.
You got to space it on your phone.
Upon enforcers making the initial breach, we realized there were quite a few women and children. Officers separated and questioned the young men known to police and began their search. We started in the house. We spoke about poverty's role in the crime dilemma for weeks. But what we saw in that house was a true manifestation of what we'd been debating. That home had to have housed more than 10 people. The conditions of the home told the story of people trying to get by with what they had, which wasn't much.
Here. Up. Bingo. G. G. One piece of wood. Probably. What's residual? Here. There's some. Hey, buddy. Hey. Here.
Our search continued outside the yard in the area, with the K9 unit leading the way. When the team ventured to the backyard, the dogs discovered a pound of hashish. According to the intel given to police, the suspects tend to intimidate their neighbors to hide the contraband in the yards. When the dogs were taken to the neighboring yard, they made a second discovery, a bag that contained individually packed balls of marijuana. We concluded this stop with 4 arrests made. 7:35, this is our latest stop. We are in an area that is really known for crime activity, depressed, lots of poverty. So this was tough. This home and the occupants are known to the police for drugs and weapons before they told us coming in what they suspected and the activities taking place here. They came in, executed a warrant, and searched. When the police asked one of the guys up against the wall what was his ankle monitor for, he said murder. I paused. I literally stepped back. But it wasn't until I walked in the house and I saw the condition. That was a lot. The condition of the house. How these people are living. Their children, their women. That took Jenny, that was hard. I can't believe people living like that. In 2024.
You would feel like this after all these years of
I wasn't ready for that. After the arrests, all teams headed to the Kwaku Street police station to regroup and transfer the alleged suspects to a cell for processing and holding.
You took three guys into custody, 3 suspects there?
Yeah, we took like four
suspects. Yeah. So this, we found quite a bit of drugs here with the dogs. So in a situation like this now, this is known to the police. This home and these individuals. Someone, one of the young men, has on an ankle bracelet, wanted on bail for murder. On bail for murder. So there's a common problem with this house.
Yes, that's a common problem at that residence. I know you heard Jerome when the mother and the father of the residence was speaking, and you heard what the mom said. Is that, hey, this is the only thing I could do, or this is the only thing they could do, because she said because of poverty or because she can't make a bounce. That was the word she used. So we can't make a bounce. Like she can't catch herself, and I know. And she said, hey, 3 of my sons. She said, 3 of my sons already died from being murdered. And that particular yard is a known yard to be trafficking drugs day in and day out. You see at this time in the night, almost 8 p.m., pitch dark, in that particular yard with light of visibility. And we realized that because of the use of the dogs now, you know, our K9 unit, that we have them along with us. Because you will see that even at the rear at the establishment, you'll see at the rear now, they have it like fenced off, or there's a border there now, and the drugs is just on the edge of the border, out of the boundary of their yard. And so if the police comes there and be able to find the drugs or find the contrabands in that yard without some type of evidence in terms of scientific evidence or any evidence where we visually saw them put that there, then sometimes it creates a problem in the court. Even if we interview them and they admit to the drugs, then when they go to court, they say, hey, we didn't put it there. The police came there and found it. I don't know how to get it. That ain't mine. And you see the number of pit bulls again in that yard. Well, how we had to use one of the property owners to basically put the dogs in the cages just to prevent the police now from being injured or harmed.
The most traumatic part for me was going inside that house.
And you saw the poverty and
the condition of that house.
But the
was
thing
shocking.
Is, Jerome, the thing is with that, they selling drugs all day. They making money. Drugs make money, and they wouldn't even try to say make repairs to the house, try to fix those and live in a better. But they comfortable. You see the partition in the house, and yeah, you see the undergarments tie up on it, and imagine us as police officers, we going into that in and out, day and out. We have to see that. We have to deal with that. People don't see that side of what we have to go through, and I'm glad that you here and you were able to see that.
That was a lot for me.
And that house, that is probably one of the better ones. Because I'll show you some house we go into, you will be surprised. You won't believe that human beings in 2024 living in that condition right here in the Bahamas. So that's the social ills that people don't see. But as ACP Goodman said, the mother, out of her mouth, she said that she can't get a job, her sons can't work because they in the criminal, in their life, they can't get a decent, respectable, legitimate job. So only thing we saw to them do now is selling drugs. And she don't see anything but that. They don't feel nothing about it. The son say, yeah man, I don't sell dope, but dope sell no. Yeah, they admit it to that.
Yeah, no, I have him saying dope being sold in the yard, but it ain't him.
It ain't him, but he know. But you have 3, 4, 5, 6 young fellas all day, ain't working, sitting in the yard all day, and that's their job.
What was frightening to me is when you asked what you have on this ankle bracelet for, and he so easily and comfortably said murder.
Yeah. And you heard him say that, man, he ain't killed no one in 2 years.
He said, I ain't killed no one in 2 years.
Yeah. Out of his mouth. So these are the things that we have to constantly deal with. And like I say, you and if viewers have an opportunity now, just this only a small snippet. Myself and Goodman, 30 plus years we've been doing this, on this operation, on this street, doing this year after year. And yet people, the final thing will say, oh, police put it there, they all must have put that there.
Have you seen it get worse in the 30 years?
It's developed over a period of years. It had from back then, in the early 90s and stuff, when I joined the job, it was the same thing, but it is intensified a bit more because it's like more people doing it, and that's what caused the turf war. Because fella want to control the turf. Like, yeah, he can't have everyone selling. You through the corner selling, I selling. But so one person tried to emerge and try to scare the other fellas from selling, and that's what caused this whole turf war and gang rivalry, and they killing one another over this drugs.
And so, I mean, even from a different point of view, from me working in the drug enforcement unit, from my first couple of years as I joined and enlisted in the organization, I spent most of my time in the organization and drug enforcement unit. And like ACP Robinson said, like the culture was different. You know, it was like you own this particular zone and this your zone. But then we realized that as time move on, we had these different communities now trying to merge together. And so when they start to merge together, they give themselves basically a name and say, okay, we'll come basically under one umbrella, but we'll just branch out. So it was just persons that's distributing drugs in the various communities. But then at the end of the day, they just brought all the funds back to one particular or two particular type of organization, like the gang, the leaders of these drug trafficking organization. But now we even see now it moving to more of a type of tit-for-tat retaliation in terms of some of the serious crimes. It leads to some shootings, some murders, but not all of the shootings and homicides are drug connected. And we've been seeing, you know, I shoot you, or I realize that this one get charged for homicide, or you didn't die, and then I realize that this person got charged, and some of it start off even in our correctional facilities to where I might be living in a particular area, and because of the area now that I'm living in, then they pretend to zone me. I might be someone who just steal a candy out of the food store, and because of poverty, my mom wasn't able to sign my bail, and now because of my bail wasn't able to be signed, I end up now in the correctional facilities, and now they're asking me, where do you live? Okay, for your safety, I cannot put you in the Camp Road area. I cannot put you in the East Street South Division. I can't put you in the Carmichael Road or the Grove. So let me put you in this big. So now when the opposition now, those other gang members see me now as a part of that now, in you know, they implant me in this particular zone now, and they automatically think that I belong to a gang or some type of other organization. And so now all antennas is almost on me now. Say I'm working for this particular drug trafficking organization or the gang or those persons who are involved in serious crimes.
Alright, Tim, what we can do from this point, we can now go in each of the teams of the targets, see if we can execute on those targets, see how much it is, questions we can go in the custody, and what else we can find. Alright, thus far, I think we had some good results. There's more they'll had, so let's see how quickly we do that.
So it's now 8:10, 2 hours into the operation, and we are sort of at a midpoint where we're about to branch off into different units. We just saw the conclusion of an operation where 4 young men were taken in to be questioned and possibly charged for dangerous drugs and organized crime. Based on the drugs that they found, the marijuana, the hashish, and how they were able to execute the search in a property that's known for selling drugs and criminal activity, and even dangerous weapons, illegal weapons they have found in and around that property before. And police just sort of explaining to us how, you know, they're even able to intimidate the neighbors, to be able to hide things in their yard and nobody calls the police. So a different scenario, but a similar outcome. More young men taken into custody. And this really shows us too how the sale of these drugs is leading to that turf war, as they explained to us that there was a time when few homes or places sold drugs, but so many now selling and wanting to make more money. It really caused a turf war, which leads to a lot of the violence, which leads to a lot of the killings at the end of the day. So 2 hours in, operation just getting started, a briefing behind us, maybe some more activity going on. So we're gonna find out, but as the night goes on and we learn more about this, it really begins to reveal to us the hard work the police have to put in night after night after night.
When we come back, we encounter a career criminal who masks his deeds under the guise of an ordinary business. Stay with us. The teams were divided into smaller groups to ensure all targets of the night were covered. While most of the other stops were uneventful, our final stop yielded the most interesting development of the night. Our final target of the night was a home to a career criminal with more than 25 years in and out of the court system. He is known to police for drug solicitation. However, by day, he's known to the public as the owner of an ice cream truck. Based on the intel from the Central Intelligence Bureau, it's common to find many drug operations under the guise of a legitimate business. The team's search yielded a small stash of marijuana, but the most interesting find was in the phone of a young associate of our career criminal. In the phone were pictures of himself with drugs and high-powered weapons. Upon questioning, officers had the young man escort them to his home to continue their search.
9:15, we are on the scene of another execution of a warrant, this time searching for drugs. This is a known criminal who has been involved with drugs and the sale of drugs for many years, known to the police by name, at least 2 decades. We came here, he has what appears to be a legitimate business, but it is also a front for the sale of, it appears to be illegal narcotics. What I found interesting was another young man found here, much younger. When police searched his phone, there was evidence of guns. Him holding a gun, pictures of guns, not just handguns, but large semi-automatic guns. Very frightening to look at. So it appears he may be using his phone to sell these guns. Another young man came upon the scene who he knows. Police took both of them to his home. They're going to look for those guns. But it's interesting how they were able to immediately search through his phone to see what was there. It wasn't just pictures of guns, it was at least one with him with the guns. So very telling, but a career criminal known by name, first name. Police know him, he knows the police. And now they're searching his house, they've taken another man, another suspect, possibly as well. Again, already found a quantity of drugs in the house. So the saga continues. There's a lot of knowing the areas, knowing the players, the individuals. So this is intelligence that is ongoing. So it's not like police don't know. It's a matter of how are they keeping up with it.
The search of the young man's house did not yield any drugs or weapons. However, heading back to headquarters, a motorcyclist was stopped for not wearing a helmet and driving an unlicensed motorcycle. When his name was run in the system, it was discovered that an active warrant was out for his arrest. He was taken into custody and all teams returned to headquarters for debriefing.
Good night, everyone. Almost 10:30. Come on. Almost 10:30. I don't want 2 persons still out. There was 1 person still out. Placing some of those suspects we lock up. I think someone to come. Michael? Yeah, one of the suspects to come, Michael. I think someone out to another station. Okay. Today, I mean, we didn't find a whole shipment. We was able to do some things. Anything else, I guess we'll discuss it, what we need to do different. Like I said, tonight, although we didn't find no firearm or no large amount of drugs, that we was able to get some persons off the street. What is more important, that everyone came back here safe. At the end of the day, we didn't have to cause harm or injury to no one out there. And we didn't have to cause, and no one caused harm or injured us.
Thank you all for another successful operation. Anytime we can go there and hit the streets and turn it up a little bit in this operation mode, it's a good night. All right, and all the time you can get the big success, but nonetheless, I'm sure that members of the public, they're pleased to see the police up and about out there. All right, so again, thank you. Please, when you leave here, it's after dark, you all.
Operation Eagle Claw is a testament to how intelligence-led policing is shaping the future of crime prevention and has shown us that the fight against crime is multifaceted. It's not just about the raids and the arrests, but about understanding the environment that breeds these activities. As we close this chapter of our crime series, let's remember the importance of vigilance, the role of community, and the power of informed action. Our journey might have ended tonight, but the conversation shouldn't. Let's carry forward the insights and stories and let them inform our understanding and responses to the crime that affects us all. To our viewers, thank you for joining us for this eye-opening journey. Let's stay informed, engaged, and most importantly, safe. Until next time.